Hello, this is Kerwin and Keith of Father Son Galaxy. All creatures, great and small, exist in the Star Wars universe. From Hoth to Naboo, Takodana to Jakku, Endor to Mustafar, and more, the galaxy is paced with otherworldly creatures and monstrous beasts. Star Wars Bestiary Volume 1, published by Inside Editions, is a new book illustrated by Iris Compiet and written by our guest, St. Bende. St. Bende is an author of middle grade and young adult novels. She is also author of many Star Wars books, including 5 Minute Stories, Galactic Adventures, Tiny Book of the Jedi, Tiny Book of the Sith, and Return of the Jedi, a visual archive. St. Bende, welcome back to Father Son Galaxy.
I am so excited to see you guys again. We were just talking off air, and in case anyone doesn't know, Keith and Kerwin are just some of my favorite people. I think their family's amazing, and I'm just so happy to be back with Father Son Galaxy. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We love your spirit. So we're glad to have you back. And we're also big fans of your work because we have a
Oh,
couple of those 5 minute books. Yeah, in our collection. Yeah, we love those. It's like fairy tales. We read them at bedtime, so that's pretty cool. And definitely, of course,
thank you.
the Return to Jedi visual archive. Is my
Oh my
favorite.
gosh.
So yeah,
That was so fun. That was our first time we got to meet, and I'm so grateful that Clayton introduced us because you guys are
yes,
just absolute gems.
yes. So thank you so much. Thank you. I'm
Thank you.
always fascinated by hearing the story behind the creation of any book. So, how did the idea of bestiary come about, and what interests you to write the book?
Oh, that's a great question. I actually don't know who originally came up with the concept. I came in after Iris. So Iris came into the project and very, very kindly invited me to do it with her. And so we had worked together on the Labyrinth Bestiary before this, and we had a really good time. We had learned that Jim Henson really likes chickens, which makes sense now in the context of the Muppets in the Labyrinth. And so Iris had taken care to try to like pepper chickens in throughout that manuscript. So we tried to get them into this one too. Not those chickens, but Endorian chickens or Tip Yip in their food form. I think we only were able to get Tip Yip in, but it was our little inside joke, and we just we had fun with that one.
The book is based on the exploration of a cartographer named Ardis San Tekka, who travels the galaxy to study various creatures. In what ways are you similar to San Tekka, and do you enjoy wildlife as much as Ardis?
Oh, okay. I love these questions, and it made me remember that I sort of forgot to answer half of the first one. So, I absolutely love, yes, I love animals. I love wildlife. Everywhere I travel, I try to pick an animal and go and find it. And so I just got back from Japan, and I got to see the snow monkeys in their little hot springs, and that was just thrilling for me. Yeah, so I love wildlife. I have actually worked with marine mammals. And so it was really exciting for me to get to stay in the Star Wars universe, but explore it from a little bit of an animal scientist perspective. And that made this character really fun to develop. So our amazing editor, Sammy Holland, we worked together and we developed this character named Ardis, and she is a creature cartographer, which is a new job because who doesn't love alliteration? And she maps out all of the different creatures in the galaxy and uses her little buddy droid Bait, B8T5, to try to lure them out of their hiding spots. And once he has lured them out, she records notes and sketches what she sees them as looking like, and it just kind of creates this journal, which is what our bestiary is meant to be.
And is that the reason why you're interested in getting involved in a book? How did you hear about it, and what made you decide, okay, I have to write this book?
Yeah, that's fair. So Iris was already signed on, and I will do anything with her anytime. I love her. She's wonderful. She's just so kind. And so, of course, I wanted to do a project with her, but also I had never gotten to write in a fandom as a scientist before. And so that was a really neat experience to get to talk about the animals that I love that are also the creatures that I love and kind of merge them together, because as I'm sure you know, there's not always so much information in Star Wars about every creature. And so this was one of those times where you just got to make some things up. And that was really exciting. I would take the Earth creature I felt was the closest to the Star Wars creature and kind of grab some traits from there, or some behaviors that I would try to transpose into a Star Wars situation. I took some experiences from animals that I had seen doing things and would just hand those off to a bantha or to a Purrgil or to its kind of Star Wars counterpart. And it was just a really neat creative challenge, and also kind of a love letter to the wildlife that makes our planet so special.
How did you narrow down which creatures would be in the book?
That was hard. So we made a list. So Sammy, our editor, is very organized. She is the Excel spreadsheet color-coded queen. And so we had lists of every single creature we could find. And in our original Excel, it was like a creature, planet, habitat kind of column situation. So you could sort of group things together. And then we thought, oh, sure, we can include all 400. We could not. I think somewhere in the mid 100 range, 130, 160, somewhere came into the book. But that was more who are the bigger ticket items that people will know, I think, are the ones that kind of made the book from there. But even at that, we broke them down into categories, right? So we had our tier 1s, which were like the banthas and the Purrgil, and then our tier 2s and our tier 3s, who would be like the scalefish, and they'd only get like a paragraph about themselves and have multiples to a page. And the tier 1s would get full page spreads or multiple pages. And then I got to write a little bit more, which was really fun.
In your acknowledgments, you wrote, I'm quoting, "Much gratitude to the Lucasfilm animation team for creating the airborne cetaceans that captured my heart in Rebels." Talk about the moment when you saw the Purrgils for the first time and what excited you about them.
In Rebels or in Ahsoka or on Star Tours?
Where
Which Purrgil?
where did you see the Purrgils the first time?
So the first time we saw them was Rebels, right? And I think there's concept art, but that was the first time I had seen them move. And as a marine mammal fan, I had no concept of space whales. And I think we talked about this last time, but Rebels is my favorite Star Wars. Like, I love Empire is my favorite movie, but Rebels is my favorite anything. And so to see, I'm going to tear up, you guys, to see Ezra in that moment, right? Facing that choice and that sacrifice, and to see that it would be these creatures that would make it with him were just, it was really lovely. And then when they came back in Ahsoka, to see them as live action Purrgil. I mean, I didn't tear up. I cried. And then my first time on Star Tours, seeing them there, I mean, I was the fully grown adult lady in the mouse ears, just crying, because it was so neat to have that experience after all those years of loving Rebels.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Rebels is my favorite Star Wars as well.
See, I knew there was a reason this was working for us.
Well, my favorite Star Wars since Disney. So, I'm still a big fan of the original trilogy, but Rebels after that is my favorite. And you're right, the Purrgils, seeing them for the first time.
Yeah.
It's amazing that Rebels got away with that, because I couldn't imagine a creature like that in live action, but it looked fantastic in animation. And it was just so wondrous, beautiful to look at. And that these creatures are force sensitive, and that Ezra can talk to them. I thought that was all amazing, and I was worried, if they're going to bring this creature to live action, is it going to work? Are people going to laugh at it? Is it going to look real enough for people? And when we saw it, and was it Ahsoka, or was it the Mandalorian?
It was Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. When we saw it in Ahsoka, it was like, wow, they pulled it off. So it's a great character. Yeah.
Although Grogu did see one outside of the hyperspace lane. There was a
That's right.
shadow
That's true.
swimming by,
Exactly.
flying by. I always get
Yeah.
confused with my words there. And so I borrowed that to add to Ardis's story because growing up, her character had explored hyperspace lanes. And so I had her have her little Grogu moment, seeing the Purrgil outside of the hyperspace lane like he had. And that really being one of the, motivating factors for her to go into science and researching the animals. And so it was like, I just have so much love for so many of these different aspects of the franchise that to kind of be able to draw from all of them, especially our found family Rebels family, like that was just such a treat for me.
What creature in the book got your attention that you didn't know existed before?
Oh, I'm sure there are so many I did not know existed before. The scalefish, I really was not hugely paying attention to. I don't think I did not know they had names. So the scalefish are these tiny little fish in Naboo whose names are like do, re, mi, fa, so, and so on, to quote Julie Andrews, and they are collectively known as the scalefish because their names make up a scale. And so learning that they existed and then trying to create a little something different for each of them so they weren't all the same was fun and also a little bit of a challenge because there wasn't that much known about them. And I never know how far I'm allowed to push facts. So they were definitely one where I had a lot of red text. So for context, I turned in a rainbow. I turned in a manuscript where things that were canon were black, things that were from Terrell Whitletch's wildlife book were purple, because it was really important to Iris and I to try to bring as much of that back into the Disney era of Star Wars as we could, because that book's amazing and it inspired us so much. Things that were based on Earth animals similar to the Star Wars creature were blue, and things I straight up made up were red. And there was green too, and I can't remember what that was for. But I would, that way the editor and then the story group and whoever was reading this would know exactly how much to read into anything I was writing in that sentence. Oh, this is a red level, or oh, this is a blue level. And then we could kind of decide if it would pass. And scalefish, I think, was a lot of red.
Yeah. For those who may be listening to this podcast and not seeing it, so I have a copy of the book, naturally. But I want to describe, it's a beautiful book. And we're going to talk about Iris shortly. But, I just want to describe the cover. So you have a Rancor, and you have a Bantha, you have the Wampas and the Purrgils. I mean, they're all, yes, exactly. So they're all in this book, they're represented in this book. So I went through and I wanted to see, okay, well, for the most part, I knew these creatures, but one in particular, like, what is this? So I open it up, and it's this creature called the Gorax.
Oh,
right?
I swear
okay.
I've seen that before.
In the picture, so apparently this creature, maybe you could give more information about it. This creature is from Endor, and it is one of these. I mean, it looks like Bigfoot. I'm trying to describe it. It looks like a Bigfoot, and you have a picture of this Gorax staring down an Ewok. I mean, it's incredible, like a David and Goliath type picture here. So
yes.
I don't know if you know anything more about this Gorax.
I do, and that's definitely one you're going to want to talk to Iris about, because this Ewok is her own little love letter to Star Wars, and she has a really sweet story about him. So I will let her tell that one. But these guys are from the Ewok sequels. Caravan of Courage, the real amazing film. Those ones. So
that was a film.
Yeah,
I mean, and what a film, right? Like, required Christmas viewing, I'm sure, in your household. Okay. but no, they are, they are a not so mythical creature that brings a lot of havoc to Endor and really causes a lot of problems for the smaller creatures that live there, since clearly he is much larger than they are, and is one of those apex predators that they just have to deal with in their habitat. So
Well,
that's
I'll be honest with you. I have not watched the Ewok Adventures after Return of Jedi,
oh,
but this would get me into watching this. If this creature is a part of this
oh
series,
yeah,
I can't imagine. I mean, these Ewoks, they don't get a break. I mean, I can
no,
see them
no.
stormtroopers, but how exactly are they going to battle something like this?
You
This
want to
is a
go watch the
beast.
holiday special?
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Are you guys watching Skeleton Crew?
we
Yeah.
are. Yeah, it's
Did
fantastic.
you
Yeah.
see the little nod to the holiday special in there?
Did you pick up? Well, you haven't seen it, so you would not have picked up on it. But
I've
it's
seen a
Okay.
little.
a holiday special. You haven't
No,
seen it yet. I know he wants to
We'll,
watch the holiday special
we'll chat
with me
again
to see.
after you
I've
watch
only
that.
Yeah,
heard.
we'll
I've
we'll.
only heard the greatest of things.
Yes. It's a
I love it. I think it's
it's
great.
historical.
There's always some tributes to the holiday special at Celebration, and those are some of the best costumes that people come up with. I'm very impressed with them.
Yeah. I haven't watched it in years, so maybe it's not as bad as I remember.
Well, if you do end up watching the Ewok movies, you will also see the Endorian chickens we were attempting to include in the book
Okay,
out of our, that's sort of our signature item. So chickens.
got it. And then one other creature, and I'm surprised about this because I don't think we've ever seen the full.
I know what you're going to say. Yes.
Yeah,
So you have to ask her
we
about
haven't
that
used it, so
too.
yes,
Yeah.
okay.
I had
Now,
never seen more than the Mando symbol this was all a fun surprise. And I don't even think I saw that sketch of hers until I got the book. That was really neat. And that was another one that would have had, you don't want to step on that lore. You want to be very careful what you write about such an impactful creature, but it's a book and you do get to add a little bit to it. So that was one that we got to do some of those red lines for too. It was just really neat and really, really inspiring to see her sketch of the full body, which I'd never seen the full body before. I had no idea.
okay. And you and Iris have never worked before? Is this the first time?
We worked together on the Labyrinth Bestiary. So that was our first book together. It's a
Okay.
very similar concept, just a lot fewer creatures because it's a much smaller number of inhabitants in that world.
Okay. And what did you think of her artwork once you saw the finished product? What did you think when you saw
For Star Wars? Well, so on Labyrinth,
For Bestiary, yeah.
I learned you sit down when you open anything from Iris because the first time I did, like my knees buckled and you kind of fall down because it's so beautiful and I don't have that gift and I am so in awe of people that do, but Iris is also the loveliest human and so incredibly kind and such a hard worker. And so it's just this really amazing person bundled in this package that can also create this amazing art. And so when she said she was going to do Star Wars, I said, well, you're doing it for me. I'm the fan that loves the Star Wars animals so much that like what you're making it's a gift for me and a whole lot of other people too. But like I am literally your target audience. I can't believe I'm going to get to see what you're making before anybody else gets to see it. And so I would open those files and I was just so excited every time. And of course I cried at the Purrgil. There was no way I wasn't going to cry at the Purrgil or the Tauntauns or, it's your favorites. Like, do you flip to a page and just to see the pencil sketchings? I don't know why those are so much more impactful to me, but it really feels like some artist went out in the wild and sketched what she saw and presented it. I was very pleased with the product. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It looks like a rough drawing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It does.
And
And
then
on pages where they have the different angles, like even I'm still on the Gorax page, and that's not even, I don't think, the one that has the most, but when they have those multiple angles and shots of a single creature, like you could just see someone, oh, it moved, and redoing a new sketch, and oh, it moved again. Like I love what she's created in this world. I'm in awe of her.
And then going back to the Purrgils, I noticed that was the last creature in the book. Was that something that you planned
Was it?
because that's one of your favorites?
I don't have much say in layout. Is he in the back? Really? Oh, my baby.
Yeah, he's in the.
Oh,
He's the last.
he is.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I thought that was their intention.
No. So we
Save the
did
best
them
for
by
last.
yeah, well, I mean, obviously, right? We did them by region. And so I guess his region just must have come up last. And was it no, it's not even alpha. No, maybe it is alphabetical. I don't know how they came up with the layout. I have no idea.
No, it's a beautiful book. And any
Yeah.
other finishing touches that you put in the book that you like to highlight? Anything in particular? A certain passage maybe that you enjoyed writing?
I enjoyed writing the conclusion. I really love our planet. I really love our environment. I'm very grateful to all of the conservationists who take such good care of these animals and take good care of our planet. And so we got to do a little bit of a love letter to nature and conservationism, not anything too extreme, but it was just a little bit of a, hey, let's do what we can to try to keep these guys around for a long time. So that was pretty fun. There were some other moments where I would include stories of mine with the animals. So I used to play a game with a marine mammal where I'd toss a ball and he would swim, he'd catch it, and then he'd swim underwater and come up close to me and release it under the water so it would fly up so I could catch it. And I thought that was just so clever and so much fun. So I had Bait play a similar game with the Purrgil where they would just play catch, probably with a space rock. I can't exactly remember what we used there, but and he would swat it, or the Purrgil would swat it with a tentacle. And so just kind of fun little throwbacks for me where I got to say, oh wait, this was a really cool experience I had with something similar. And maybe if I lived in space, this is how I would play that game.
So now we have volume one, Bestiary volume one. So do we know will there be a volume two?
So Iris and I have not been asked to write a volume 2 yet. We very much hope that we are. We think that would be amazing, but we don't actually know any more than you do, sadly. We would love to though. So universe, we just think that's amazing. Wonderful concept.
Okay. And then what's next for you? Do you have anything planned coming up?
I do. I have a thinking about what's been announced. It has. Okay, so we have another I don't know if it has been announced. Okay, never mind. I have a Casablanca book coming out. That'll be fun. No, I don't think anything else has been announced. So I am just sitting here hanging out, excited to watch the holiday special, catching my weekly skeleton crew. We will have another conversation after you watch the holiday special about the skeleton crew. Yeah, there are things, I just don't know what they are.
Understood. Yeah. I do recall, and it has nothing to do with you. I've heard stories of there may be another visual archive coming.
There may be. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I just reading a book here about wildlife. Like my God, I'm not changing the subject, I promise. But my God, how do you do that? Like, there's no. He's just so amazing.
Yeah.
And then Hoth. We didn't even talk about Hoth. Hoth is my favorite planet. So to see her tauntauns, to see her wampas, to see everything that she created was just, or the Voltexes, these guys, like those, the detail in their little crystal fox hairs are just, I'm just truly, truly amazed at everything that she has done. Oh, or this guy. Oh, wait, he left. I flipped too quickly. Do you remember him?
Yeah, I do. That was from the Book of Boba Fett, right? Wasn't that the creature in Tatooine? Do you remember that?
Yes.
No?
Called Tatooine Sand Beast.
Is that the one they fought at the end?
No, I think it was episode 2 or 3.
I don't really remember the Book of Boba Fett for obvious reasons.
Well,
it was a while ago too.
Yeah, remember he was taken in by the Raiders?
Yeah. Was I supposed to feel bad for them?
The Raiders?
Yeah.
Well, When they were slaughtered, yes,
Well,
apparently,
yeah, but they
yes.
did kind of take Boba as a slave and
Well,
put him to work. The only reason they initiated him into their camp is because he saved one of them, which he really didn't have to do.
this is referring to. So that was the beast that came out of the sand all of a sudden. I think was going after one of their younger, raiders or younger kids,
I
and
mean,
he
maybe
did
that wouldn't
save
have
them.
happened if they weren't wearing black in the desert.
Okay, well,
Not only does black absorb heat, it also doesn't make you blend in with the sand.
yeah,
That's like the whole point of the Tusken Raiders.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you
So
do
that
you have a favorite
me,
Star Wars series?
The Clone Wars.
Okay, that's a good choice. I like that one.
yeah.
What
Yeah.
about you, Dad? Rebels.
Well,
Never mind.
Yeah. I said Rebels. The Clone Wars. There was 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, and I have not. I mean, I've seen. Well, I haven't seen as many episodes as you
I've
have,
seen
but
all
I
of
think
it,
you've seen
man.
all of them. But
Because I was alive when it was broadcast.
that's true, right? And it was on XD. Was that the channel that it was
It
on?
was on Netflix.
It was on Disney XD. I remember that.
Like, it was on Disney XD, but I watched it
back
on Netflix.
before Disney Plus, there was something called Disney XD.
Yes, that's true.
I remember Disney XD though.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Then it just went bye-bye when Disney Plus showed up.
Yeah. I don't even know if Disney XD even exists.
I think it is. They just have like a limited roster.
Okay.
Like 2 shows.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. So then there's also the Rancor, which is pretty cool. Speaking of Return of the Jedi, I also wanted to mention this creature. Speaking of Rebels, this is one of my favorite creatures. The Loth.
No.
I love
What
the
page is
Loth.
he on? I want to flip to him.
This is page 82, 83.
Okay. Right by the Loth cats.
Yeah.
So
when I see
this is one where I definitely cried writing him when I saw that he made the cut and then realized I was going to get to kind of write about Kanan. I don't remember if yes, he did continue. Okay. I wasn't sure. You know what you originally wrote, but sometimes you don't remember what made that final cut. And I just was anytime ever in anything I write that I get to reference anything Rebels, I get really excited. I got to do the Bad Batch novelization and that first scene, you're talking about Caleb Dune and you're just like, it was a lot. And so this was a real treat to get to cycle back to him.
Yeah, I love this. It's a beautiful creature. It always reminds me of the World Between Worlds.
Yes.
So yeah, I love
How did you
Between
enjoy
Worlds.
seeing that in Ahsoka? Was that fun for you, or was it?
I'm sorry, Steve.
Did you like that part in Ahsoka too? Was that also very moving for you?
Yeah, they didn't really tell you if it was the World Between Worlds, but I'm assuming that it is. They didn't really make that clear.
Yeah, how was I supposed to interpret episode 5?
Yeah,
I think we should actually do a whole episode on this. But episode 5 was just interesting with the way they played it. So we should totally do a video on that later.
Yeah, we didn't know if Ahsoka may be flatlined and she was like in suspended.
That's a really good point. They don't say what
that is. There were like 3 things that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like 3
I think most Rebels fans went straight there, though. We were just like, oh my
gosh. Yeah. So she's either like having an out-of-body experience.
Yes.
She's dead. Or she's just sitting at the bottom of the ocean, fully alive, just dreaming about being in the World Between Worlds. And all 3 of those make no sense given the context.
Yeah, I think it's left up to interpretation.
Yeah. And also the lesson Anakin was teaching of live or die. Like, did she need to be reminded to live?
I think you need to watch that episode again. Actually, you're not giving it enough credit. It was actually a very cool
anger does wonders for the will to live.
Yeah. No, look, Hayden Christensen, that was his best performance as Anakin Skywalker. So yeah, I gotta give him his props there.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask you this one last question, ST.
Yeah.
So if you, let's say, Lucasfilm came to you and said, well, ST, you can write any book you want about Star Wars. What would that book be?
Oh, well, to date, this has been my favorite book I've gotten to write for them, because it took animals, it took science, it took Iris, it took art, it took all of those things and put it into one. So it would be hard to top this, but I would love to get to do a rhyming book with them. I love writing rhyming things. I think it would be really fun to do something animal, but more geared towards young kids too. And anytime I get to, put things into verse and rhyme, I get really excited. So I don't know exactly what it would look like, but it would have animals and it would have rhymes, I'm thinking.
I love that.
I know someone who could help you write that.
Yes,
do
we have a
you?
poet. We have a
You have
poet
an
in our family.
extraordinary rhymer in your house.
Yes, she is. She's absolutely an extraordinary writer. Yeah. So Tanya's a big writer of poetry. So we would
And
love
she
to have
has
Yeah,
her.
I'm a public
the
author.
most beautiful heart. I just love her so much.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. She's back here. She's crying right now.
Oh, I do. I love you, Mama. I just think you're incredible. I'm so grateful that I get to be your bud.
Yeah. This is incredible. Again,
I'll go grab some tissues.
I'm trying not to
Sorry.
cry. But no, I really enjoy speaking with you, ST. Like I said, we were off camera, but I'll say it here that you just have this spirit of a teacher. Someone who is very, very discerning of people. Know how to talk to people, patient and kind. Like a good school teacher should be. So, and I was surprised you said that you're not a school teacher, but I think you have that gift. So if you ever thought about teaching, even if it's
Thank you
poetry
so
or writing, you would absolutely.
Yeah, like a workshop.
Very effective. Yes.
You guys are
Yeah.
so kind. Thank you. Well, and
No.
when we were when we were off camera, I was also giving a shout out to Star Wars in class and Indian class. So if there are any amazing teachers listening, and I am so in awe of you and so grateful for the work you do and the gifts you gave me as a younger person. Star Wars in class and Indian class are educational kind of rhetorics based on each of those franchises. So it takes lesson plans through a Star Wars lens or through an Indiana Jones lens and kind of helps meet kids where they are in their interests. So, if you're a teacher, feel free to check those out. And the guy that runs them is really, really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Your teachers are very, very important. So
Thank
you so much. Where can people find you?
My website is stbende.com. All my links are there. I am still on Instagram and more on Blue Sky than that other one, but I'm still over on Twitter too, occasionally. But really, the website is the easiest.
All right. Keith, where can people find us?
You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Ardis San Galaxy, website ardisangalaxy.com. We have a TikTok now, so go check that out. I'm pretty sure our username is Ardis San Galaxy. Either way, you will probably find us. Yeah. Check out our merch store, ardisangalaxy.myspreadshop.com. We also have a Blue Sky, I've just been informed.
Yes, we're also on Blue Sky. Yes.
Yeah.
So we will look out for you, ST.
So,
well, it's very civilized over there, I have found. I think it's people generally chose to be there and they would like to. And so I've met some really neat people through there. And I'm really excited because the Force is so strong in your family. I'm excited to look for you guys over there too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to look out for each other there. Yeah, thank you so much. This, again, is Bestiary, Volume 1. All right. Written by our guest, St. Bende, illustrated by Iris Compiet.
We're so happy you like it. It's our love letter to Star Wars, and we're just super, super grateful we got to be a part of it. So truly, thank you for having us on. We are so grateful. You guys are so lovely.
All right. Absolutely. So thank you so much, everyone. If you're listening or watching this episode, thank you once again. Until next time, take care.
And we will see you again.